What up, my radical friends? It's me, Cole. Welcome to our home. Today we're going to be discussing a goofy movie. That's a little crooked. Go. Alright. So today we're going to be talking about a goofy movie. Since this upcoming week will be Father's Day, I thought it would be kind of appropriate to do a goofy movie. So that's going to be cool. We're going to talk about a goofy movie. If you've seen it, well, thank you. If anybody wants to comment, I would greatly appreciate it. We always like to talk to you guys in the Disney Plus reviews. Discussions. So real quick, we're going to get started. Just to let everyone know, yes, my dad's not here today. He would be here, but he had to attend a meeting, so we're doing another one with just me. So, hey, let's get started. So, what was y'all's favorite scene in the movie, if you guys want to comment? But for me, my favorite scene in the movie was probably the scene where Goofy and Max stay at the hotel, and Goofy kind of finally realizes that Max actually kind of lied to him and tricked him. So that was my favorite scene, mostly because of just like the emotional tension between all of the movie leading up to it and what it meant afterwards. I guess to start off, I have to say this about the Goofy movie. It's always embarrassing, for me at least, to say that a Goofy movie is my favorite Disney movie, because we've probably all heard the question, what is your favorite Disney movie? And it's just kind of embarrassing to say a Goofy movie is my favorite movie, because whenever somebody hears that, they automatically think, okay, he watches a Goofy movie. Weird. But I don't know, because of all, I actually really just like a Goofy movie for the, Miranda, you said the possum place? That was a good scene. I really like that scene. Just to let everyone know, a Goofy movie is my favorite movie, if you haven't caught up on me saying that. But, yeah, I like a Goofy movie mostly for its actual emotional themes. Hey, Ashley, you said, great movie, say it proud, who cares what people think? Yeah, it's true. It's just, for me, it's a little embarrassing, especially because I'm a teenage boy, and so I'm going to be a little embarrassed about those sort of things. But I do really like it. I like a lot of father-son movies, so I do like it for that reason as well. So not only the emotional themes of it, but also the father-son relationship, just mixing them both together really made a good experience for me. So that was my favorite scene in the movie because of all the emotional lead up to it, and then that was like the scene that's like the peak of the movie for me. But yeah. All right, so what was y'all's least favorite scene in the movie? For me, it was probably, and I'm actually a little torn on this, but the Powerline concert. And the reason I feel this way is because all this way up, they're leading up to it kind of being like Max doesn't care about getting to the Powerline concert. And I just felt like if they had just gone maybe even a step further and just made it to where he went fishing. I know he said in the movie, oh, let's just go fishing, Dad. We don't need to do the Powerline concert. But I don't know. I kind of wish that's what actually happened. Not that I dislike the scene either, because I really do like the scene. It's really good. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but I love the 80s aesthetic of the movie. But I love that concert. That's like one of the biggest 80s scenes in the movie to me. So I really am kind of sad to say it, but that's probably my least favorite scene in the movie. I'm curious to see what y'all think. If you guys want to comment that down below. or I guess on the side, but still. All right, I'm going to continue on. So, was the time frame unique? There you go. Leads right into my conversation. It's kind of interesting. This film was not necessarily super duper unique when it was made. It was made in the 80s or 80s, 90s area. And so, really, in that time frame, it was the norm. It was kind of the normal time. That's kind of, I mean, it probably bumped up a lot, but still, it was the 80s. It was based around the 80s themes. But because of all of the, nowadays, and this is where it comes unique to me, the time frame of the movie, it was so 80s-ish, it's kind of created its own setting in a sense. I've heard it said kind of like it's so dated that it's not dated. It's kind of like when they say it's so ugly, it's cute. It's so dated, it's not dated, to me at least. But yeah, I think the 80s aesthetic of the movie, the time frame is very unique, at least for me. But I'm curious to see what you guys think of what do you guys think? Do you guys think the time frame of the movie is unique? All right, so moving on to the next question. Who was your favorite character in the movie, guys? For me, I would probably say either Goofy or Max, but between the two, I really like Max because, well, I can relate to him a little bit more. I'm sure when I grow up, I'll probably be able to relate more to Goofy, which is also another unique thing about the movie. No matter how old you get, you can still relate to the main characters. So that's pretty cool. But for me right now, my favorite character that I also get that I most relate to is Max, and so that's why I think he's my favorite character personally. Just honestly, he's kind of. I'm not necessarily like the type of person who's like Max to where he's like super brooding and only looking out to be as cool as he possibly can, but just kind of like some of the stuff he does is similar to what I do. So it kind of makes him relatable to me. Miranda said, the cheese guy, the Leaning Tower of Cheese. Yeah. I'm not proud to say I've quoted that too many times. Too many times I've quoted that. But it's the Leaning Tower of Cheese. But yeah, the Cheese guy is really. I actually will talk about him later. But it's always good to hear people's opinions about all the characters. So, what did you guys think of the music in the film? I'm actually a little split in this department as well. In one sense, the movie is so kind of like adultish. Not really adultish. What's the right word? It's more mature. It's so mature, it's almost like it brings me out of the movie whenever they start singing a song, and it's a musical, so you'll get some of the songs in it. But I love almost every single song in the movie. So I'm kind of torn. I'm like, I don't necessarily want the songs in the movie, but I love the songs that they provide. So I'm curious to know, what do you guys think of the music? I personally love the music. We'll get into what's my favorite music later on, but for me personally, I love the music in the film, but there's a part of me that's kind of like, I don't want the music in the film. So take that with however I could possibly explain it. So on to the next question. What character did you guys most relate with? I personally related most to Max. Like I said, Miranda said the music was all right, but little different from the typical Disney music. That's another thing I've kind of wanted to. That's also another thing. Uh, Whenever they use, what is it? Uh, what's the song called that Bigfoot listens to? Staying Alive. That part's a little awkward because you don't hear pop music in most of Disney songs, and also the '80s music is a little weird and it's kind of off-putting for a Disney film. But I like the '80s aesthetic of the movie, so. Andy said, "Sorry, I'm running late." Oh, don't worry. We just started 10 minutes ago. We're just talking about a Goofy movie. What's your favorite characters? What character do you most relate with? And stuff like that. But it's good to see you, Andy. Thank you for the 4 likes to everyone who's liked the video. Appreciate it greatly. But like I said, I really relate to Max. Like I was saying, what character do you most relate to? I mostly relate to Max for those reasons. Hey, Allie and Rowdy. But like I said, were there any characters in the movie you guys did not like? For me, I have one. A single character I didn't love. And that was the Leaning Tower of Cheesa guy at first. Now later, after like the first part of it, he's kind of a little, I guess awkward is the way I feel. I feel awkward whenever I'm in it for the first few times, for the first like 5 minutes of meeting him. But then after that, he's hilarious. Bobby is hilarious after that. The Leaning Tower of Cheesa. I like how he's like cheering on Max whenever he goes on stage. That part's really funny to me. But that's the only character I can possibly think of. I mean, I guess you can, if I stretch it out really, I don't just love Pete. I really do like the character, how he affects Goofy, but I don't love Pete, not Pete Jr. Pete Jr.'s hilarious. He's basically like Carl from Jimmy Neutron. But you know. Andy said, I think I like all the characters from what I remember. I need to rewatch it. I've watched it, no joke, in the past, what's it been, 3 weeks, 3 times. One time every week. Just because I've been kind of excited to watch the Goofy movie, but also the first week that we watched it, I watched it. I just kind of wanted to watch it again. So Miranda said, I don't care for Pete too much. Yeah. Andy said, haha, wow, that's awesome. Thank you. I watched it 3 times. I'm so proud of myself. All right. So, did you guys like the animation of the movie? That was my next question. I really like the animation in the movie. I love the fact that they added little Disney references like the Mickey Mouse phone in the very beginning. My favorite scene animation-wise would have to be the opening scene. That part looked amazing. I mean, really, really good. I don't remember if they were still using hand-drawn animation at the time, but it definitely looks like it to me. So I really like the opening scene, but I just really like the animation of it. Miranda said, yeah, I think it was good. Okay. Another thing I wanted to note about it was, what was it I was going to say? I was going to ask you guys, I don't know if I wrote this on here. I don't think I did. Did you guys think the animation was goofy? Like, when you watch Goof Troop, there's that goofy element to it. Do you guys think the animation was? For me, I would say that I didn't really think it was like super duper goofy, but there were scenes in the movie I thought was pretty goofy, like Goof Troop like scenes. But I will say this, even though I really like a Goofy movie, I did not just really like Goof Troop. I know that's probably sacrilege to all the Goofy fans, including myself. That he's like one of my second favorite characters. But oh, so sorry. Uh, I don't just love a Goof Troop personally, but I'm 16, so. And he said, hand-drawn animation is such an impressive skill. Gotta love those old movies. You really do. I mean, honestly, when you look back at something like even as old as Snow White, I can't even do that nowadays. I can't even make a flip book. But I do really like the animation of it, as well as the silliness of some of the other parts of the movie. All right, so next is, what was your favorite song in the movie? For me, it's probably After Today. That's probably my favorite song. It's the very first song they open up with. And honestly, I think it's the best one that fits in the movie. But I really do like the song. What else was I going to say? My brain just went blank. A Goofy. I like the song. It's really upbeat. It's I've sung it too many times. It really gets you used to the characters. One thing I will note about it, and Andy said stand out. That's another good one. I really do like it. One thing I want to note about the songs is a lot of them are just like so on the nose about what they're trying to tell you. Like After Today, that's just about the title of the song is what I'm saying. After Today is just about after what he's about to do, everything's gonna change. That one's actually probably the most discreet out of all of them. Stand Out is just him trying to stand out. So, excuse me. But Stand Out, that one's so on the nose on what it's trying to tell you. Listen to Each Other, that one's on the nose as well. On the Open Road, I guess that one's not as on the nose, I would say, but I just thought that was kind of interesting. Like all the titles of the songs are very to the point, I guess you would say. But all right, did you guys think the choreography? And I know that's weird to say about an animated movie, but like the way they moved during the music, did you guys think that matched well? Miranda said you like On the Open Road. I really like On the Open Road. I think that's my second favorite song. Sorry if I'm looking both ways. I'm trying to read the questions as well, and also look at the comments. So, but you like On the Open Road. That one's a really good one. I liked that was what was my other song? I really like No One But You. That one's a really good song. A really good way to tie up the knot. That's kind of like what they say in theater: when you can't express your emotions enough, sing, and when you can't sing, when singing doesn't express enough emotions, dance. Dustin Times, good to see you, Dustin. You said I always wanted to learn the eye to eye dance. Oh, that's what it's called. Not listen to each other. It's eye to eye. That one's one of my favorite songs as well. I guess I've listed all the songs almost, but listen to that's a really good song. I love the choreography in that song, especially. The second one, I would say that has the best choreography out of all of them. I would say is the After Today song. That one I think has the second best choreography, I guess you would say. But I think it matched very well with the music personally. Dustin said the perfect cast. Oh, I thought you were saying at first like the perfect cast of people to play the characters, but no, that makes sense. Perfect cast is it's almost, I almost don't know how you would be able to do the perfect cast like with your hands. It's so goofy, I guess you would say. All right. So, were there any songs in the movie you guys felt were unnecessary? If you had asked me this like 2 years ago, whenever it was, if you guys asked me like 2 years ago, I would have probably said "No One But You." But now I've changed my mind, and I would still say there's no song in the movie that's not unnecessary, except for the idea that I really like the way there was like a part of me that wanted there to be like no music, but I still loved all the music in the movie, if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't, but uh, like I said, do not feel that none of the songs were unnecessary. So now we're going to move on to some specific questions. So, what did you guys think of Pete and Pete Jr.? Which is weird to say Pete and Pete Jr. I always refer to both of them as just Pete. But like I said earlier, I'm not just super duper fond of Pete himself. I mean, maybe it's just because I don't think he was a good parent, which is, the whole point of him. But I don't just love Pete, but I do love Pete Jr. He is like the nerdiest of all nerds to me. And I guess I just relate to him more that way. But I love Pete Jr. The part where he's like singing and cleaning at the same time, and then like Max shuts off the music. That part's hilarious to me. Or whenever he uses the camera equipment and he's like so afraid his dad's gonna get mad at him, but then he's like later on, he's like, "Oh Max, I knew it would work." I guess PJ, that's his normal name. Andy, I guess that's true. PJ's funny. I guess that's what I should have been calling him. I looked up all the names earlier, and now I'm just like, everybody calls him Pete Jr., of course. It's just me who doesn't call him Pete Jr. But anyways, did you guys like the interaction between Max and Goofy? I really honestly thought we were going to talk a little bit more about this. I'm glad I wrote this question down. But I loved the way Max and Goofy interacted, especially the progression between the two as they go on. At first, it's kind of like Max is very standoff-ish from his dad, and then he slowly lets his dad into his life all the way until really that point where he does not go to, well, what's the lake now? I've just forgotten the lake, but he goes Lake Geronimo, but instead goes to L.A. Miranda said, "You remind me of PJ." That's real nice. I get saying I remind you of PJ. I guess thank you. I thought he was a hilarious character. He is. I personally think that as well. PJ, I do have a lot of qualities that I relate with PJ, but I still feel like I relate most with Max, I guess. But anyways, like I was saying, I just love the interaction between Max and Goofy the most, just because at the very end, whenever they both are like so bonded together, Max listens to his dad. He does the perfect cast and everything. And then he listens to his dad and goes and tells Roxanne. Now, I know we haven't talked about Roxanne much, but, what was I going to do? All right, the next question. Did you guys think that Goofy was too goofy? I guess that's a weird question to ask about the Goofy movie, but did you guys think Goofy was like unbearably goofy? If you guys know what I mean, like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse or a Goof Troop Goofy, I feel is just too goofy. Andy said, "I think Goofy was just right." Ella, I would agree, Andy, with you. Dustin Time said no, he was just goofy enough. Yes, honestly, they could have done the movie way worse, and I think that's probably my favorite thing about the movie is that they kind of surprised me whenever I first saw it about how they handled it all, because they could have really made this just a normal goofy, like another Goof Troop show, and it would not have been as good. But fans of Goof Troop would have loved it. I loved how they handled this movie, mostly because they didn't just make some goofy movie like they could have done, but they made a movie that's relatable for everybody. Everybody can relate to this movie. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. So I felt Goofy was just goofy enough, and sometimes even not goofy enough, I guess you would say. Not goofy, and I wouldn't say that. I would say he was in some moments of the movie, and you guys know some of the scenes, like the hotel scene, or the scene whenever he's fighting with Max. He's not necessarily super duper goofy in those scenes, but I still love Goofy in those scenes. Miranda said, I think he was goofy enough and still mature enough to be a dad. And that's pretty much what I would agree with. He wasn't just like some stumbling idiot or anything like that. He was still a dad who wanted respect from his son. And I think that's probably another one of the things I really appreciated from the movie. All right. Did you guys think Max was too brooding? That was another question I wanted to ask, and this is one of the final major questions. I personally don't think Max was super duper brooding. I mean, no, I didn't say that right. I think Max was a little too brooding-ish in some parts of the film, but in most of the film, I would say he was just right to do the job that was telling the story. Like I said, I loved Max as a character, and those parts where he's like too brooding relates a lot to me. It relates mostly to me because of some things that have happened in the past for me. I went through, let's just say, a dark phase in my life a couple years back, and it was much like Max, and over time I overcome it just like Max a little bit in this film. So I felt like Max was a little brooding in this film, but he overcomes it a little bit as he goes on, realizing he needs to respect his dad and such. So that's what I would say, at least. So on to the final 3 questions. We always ask these 3 at the end of the videos. What would you guys rate this film on a scale from 1 to 10? As it's my favorite film, I would give it a 10 because it's my favorite film and I just loved all sorts of things about it. Honestly, there are very few things I would say I don't like in this movie at all, if any, but that's why I would rate it on a scale. I would rate it a 10. So would you guys recommend, so the second question would be, would you guys recommend this film to a friend? Andy said, a 9, a good childhood movie. Mm-hmm. Would you guys recommend this film to a friend? Andy said, Cole, you would be a good online teacher. Oh, thank you. Their job is, I wouldn't say I learned, but I just know that their job is a lot. It's very hard. I know a friend who is kind of like a teacher's pet. So he is really in there with a lot of teachers, and I know it's really hard to teach, especially little kids. But like I was saying, I would recommend this. I would definitely recommend this film to a friend, unless there's one caveat. If their dad and possibly mom died, I would not recommend this to a friend. But other than that, I would recommend this film to pretty much anyone. And then the final question, do you guys think you'll watch this movie again anytime soon? Yes. This is my guilty pleasure movie, I guess you could say. As my dad watches Rogue One every time he goes to the gym, I watch Goofy movie every time I work outside. Not every time, but a lot of times. So I think I'll probably watch this again sometime soon, at least. So I'm curious what you guys would say. Thank you guys, by the way, for the 4 likes. Always appreciate it when you guys like the video. Really does help. All right. So with the final question out of the way, we're going to move on to next week's video. Now, I know next week we will not be doing a Disney Plus live stream because we do it every other week now. But what was I going to say? When we do it again, it'll be the week after July 4th, whenever we're going to be doing it. So I was thinking we might do something topical and do a very patriotic movie. But if you look online, there really is not that many patriotic movies. But then I remembered a movie that's all about American history. And I'll give you guys a little hint. It has to do with the Declaration of Independence and lemons, and then on the back of the map, on the back of the Declaration of Independence, there's a map. If you put lemon oil, you probably have already guessed it. It's National Treasures. I think that would be a really good film to do. Yep, Andy, National Treasure. Love that movie. I was thinking we should probably do, because it's going to be July 4th, it would be great to do National Treasures, a movie all about American history. So not next week, the week after July 4th, we're going to do National Treasures. So we hope to see you guys there. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys would like to like the video, please like it if you haven't already. We thank you for the 4 likes, by the way. Andy said, all right, let's watch it. Very fitting. All right, thank you. But until next time, guys, from our house to yours.